and with that, so y'all say when. All right. Yesterday afternoon, we got some news that we didn't want to hear about Will Armistead. Last Saturday, when during his outing, which was a great outing, even though he struck out his last batter, he felt some discomfort in his arm, and we got it checked out, and unfortunately, it showed some damage there. Acute chronic tear in his UCL, which means it was an old injury that it's been hardened up before, but it tore there again. So unfortunate for Will, unfortunate for us that he'll be done for this year.
Is he eligible for any red shirt or anything like that?
He has a capability of having another year. This stage of the game, it'd be hard to think it would be in time for next season. With reconstruction of the UCL, that's a good 12 months. But that could file for a red shirt next year, and he could come back for year 6 if he would like, and we're certainly going to provide that opportunity for him, to do that. So just kind of is what it is, very unfortunate, and just some things you hope to avoid throughout a season, and we just haven't really had that opportunity to avoid a whole lot of them so far, it seems.
You said it was an old injury, something he suffered at Itawamba?
Yeah, he thinks so. He had some arm discomfort after we signed him that spring afterwards, and he shut down for a while, and a partial tear of a UCL ligament, which I pitched with one my senior year, is it doesn't mean you can still do it. It might not feel great, but he shut down and rested then, and what happened, it scars up and kind of heals itself, and it lasted him to this point, and stuff. So it was but it's always going to be a little weaker in that spot. So this surgery will require them to do a reconstruction of it by probably getting a ligament out of his knee or wherever it might be and putting it in there.
Any status on Slade? Get up a little gingerly from his dive into the plate.
Well, actually, Slade's issue last night, you talking about?
Yes, sir.
When he got hit by the pitch right in his elbow, really couldn't feel his fingers for the rest of the game, and couldn't grip the bat, and which was probably more just some inflammation around that nerve area, and some swelling there, and I think he's much better today. So I don't think it's anything serious, but in that moment, he didn't have grip strength, so we had to opt to do something else.
You said Parker was out as well with a second Tommy John, is it?
Second Tommy John for him. So his comes down. He had his in high school, and it never just felt great to him. He had an abnormal amount of scar tissue in there. Always was swollen, and that scar tissue and that inflammation would irritate the ulnar nerve. And anyway, Dr. Dews decided to go back in there and redo it, and they did. And so he's obviously out, and but I think Jackson has a future. I really do, and I don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to happen. And this is just one of those speed bumps in there. But he had that a while back. He had that about a good month ago or so, I think. So and McCarty's had his procedure done last week in Birmingham, and everything went great, and they feel great about his prognosis moving forward. So for the immediates, it's not it's not good, but thankfully these guys will be able to bounce back in the future.
I know at the beginning of the season we talked about all the depth you guys had in the pitching staff. Now, a couple guys are hurt. How do you guys feel about the arm, especially down the stretch of the important series and on the weekend?
We got I love what we have. Right now they got to go out there and compete. This is, to me, this can create even a cooler story, so to speak. And I've been using this. I feared this with Will after Saturday. And so you kind of use that, and you prod the guys about who's going to step up, who's going to cover this and that, and yeah, at the beginning of the year, the depth we felt like it was there. These guys showed us throughout the fall and leading into it, so many things, some promising things. Some of them haven't lived up to it. I'll just be honest with you, and that's on them. That's their job. But some of them's been from the injury factor, and so forth. And you can't control that, so. You're going to go out there and who you have, and go out there and believe in them and let them go out there and compete for you, and they're going to do it. They did it last night. They're going to do it again tomorrow or on Friday and so forth. So would love to have a full deck that I thought we would have at this point, but we got what we got, and it's enough to go out there and compete for sure.
Are there any updates on Payne and Seth Smith?
Seth got good news yesterday. So Seth got the cast off. It's as tolerated as he feels. Saw him today. He said he felt great, so that's great news there. Pains in the training room. Talked to him earlier. Is feeling better every day. Came out and threw today. Said it felt good. And I kind of made the comment. I said, when you get tired of not playing, it's going to feel better too. And but it's something that he had to deal with and give it time. That lat and that Terry's major or Terry's minor. And but hopefully he's one that can come back here soon. And give us another option out of the bullpen.
With the losses on the back end and pitching in general, is it just more reps for a guy like Ock now?
100%. There's no doubt. There's going to be blessings to this too. Sometimes you don't see them right away, but between him, Drake Meeks, even getting his feet wet more, getting him out there and stuff. It's amongst others, with that have had, fewer opportunities. This could be a really big opportunity for them to grow, help us be successful, but also grow for next year and beyond.
You're playing a very good Louisiana opponent on the road. How excited are you to get out there and see what you guys can do?
I'm very excited. This is what it's about. It's why we put the uniform on. It's why I coach, to go out there and try to win and beat the quote unquote the best. Right now they're the best in the league and stuff, and that's the team that we have to get over. We got a tremendous amount of respect for ULL, and we're going to go out there and give them all they can have. And I promise you this, our guys are going to compete and fight. There's no doubt about it.
I know it's early in the week, but any idea what you do for a weekend rotation yet?
Yeah, I feel good about it. I think I have a pretty good plan, and I'm not quite ready to share that, but it's nothing crazy. I mean, it is what it is, and there'll be a TBA game in there for sure, and at some point, because I think that's just kind of how we're structured right now. But you're going to see Billy and Nico out there getting the ball and starting for us at some point this weekend.
Just back to yesterday, I know last week we talked about Dalton McIntyre and he came back in a week. Just how did that kind of happen? Did it shock you? Or?
Yeah, it kind of did. I don't know who it was that asked me. I don't know if it was Eagle Hour or somebody asked me on Monday, what's the chance of seeing him on Tuesday? I said 0. And I guess I ate those words. But, yesterday, the doctor said it's a tolerance deal, how he feels. He came out here and hit yesterday and moved around, and he came to me and said, Coach, I'm good. And I said, well, if you tell me you're good, then, I don't want to see any grimacing, this, that, whatever. You're good. And he said, I'm good. And he helped us win the game last night. He on base 3 times. He made an unbelievable play in center field late. I mean, his presence there alone, it's not just about getting the hits, as many hits, and we all expect him to go 4 for 5, every game. But, he helped us win that game last night, so it's good to get him back.
Is he, if you have any idea, like what percentage he's at or what kind of pain is he feeling out there? Or?
I think he's a tough kid. I'm not worried about the pain part of it. I mean, he probably would tell me less than it really is. But it's probably some discomfort, but not enough to affect us. So he felt like he could get off good swing. Watch him in BP. I mean, he was back spinning some balls. He had a good ball pull side last night that if it wasn't such a, the wind blowing crossways there, that might have got out. So I think the power's there. Everything's there behind it. It's just, I'm sure there's a little mental hurdle, of getting back in there, even though it just was a week he missed. It's a week, when you're used to a constant rhythm 4 days a week and you lose that, you got to get back out there. But, he feels good. I talked to him again today, and so that's great news.
Coach, with lengthy TJ rehabs, does it change the way you're going to recruit in the back half in terms of pitching?
In the back half of
your next, you guys go look for more arms, or? I
think so. Well, I've been beefing them up, pretty good anyhow. This was it's a bigger class coming in anyhow, and because things happen, and you always get to a point. If you try to be exact, you always get to a point that's you're wanting to add, and so you kind of add when you like what you got, what you see, and so we've kind of done that. But yeah, probably so. I think there'll be another edition or two, and as we go, and Coach Rose is going to watch one today. So it's a constant reevaluation with things when you have some of these injuries for sure.
Talking about Nick Monastery, just coming in as a sophomore, had a bit of a slower start, but the way he's kind of stuck with it, and he's played I don't know, 3 or 4 different positions. Just what's impressed you about his just approach to everything?
I mean, he loves to play. I think it shows. He gets after it. Last night he made a spectacular diving play to get a leadoff out, I think it was, when the game was somewhat close still, and just other things. He's done so well, and offensively, I'm proud of him. He's just growing. Again, this year we kind of all pegged him to be, the savior, so to speak, because of what he did last year. But he was 30 games deep, and so he was still learning, evolving. So I think the start of this spring season was still an opportunity for him to grow. He was still kind of a freshman in some respects. So love where he's at, and hopefully he'll continue to keep growing.
Obviously, we know Danny Lynch in Louisiana. I mean, how bad would you like to see him in a uniform playing in the lineup?
I would love it, man. I've got some really good memories of Danny in uniform against them, and it's going to be fun. He's our distraction. We're taking him with us only for one reason, just to be a distraction to everybody. So, no, it's going to be fun. It's a great environment. Their fan base, is rabid like ours, and it's always, a fun environment to play in, and it's going to be a great challenge. We look forward to it.
That obviously you mentioned there's going to be one TBA this weekend. That third starter, what are you looking out of that third guy? What do you need to see?
It will really come down to, kind of where we're at. In all likelihood, it would be on that third game, and so it really comes down to, what's available. Who have I already used, to this, that, or whatever. If I have multiple options, then by game 3 you feel pretty good about how to get them out. You just got to execute. So you figure out who can do that. So I'm not going to say it's a guy that's already started some or what. It's going to be the best available option that we feel up at that time.